So the first person that put their hand up was Carol Frolic Hole.
This is spot on for me. I'm like a monkey, and you see the shiny object.
Yeah.
And I've always worked from home for over almost 30 years, so this is not new for me. I start out really well, and I'm getting much better at turning off the outside distractions with an autoresponder, or sometimes it's just me hitting my phone. I have already in there, can't talk now, and whatever. But there are times when I kind of crave the distraction, and I tend to lean in that, like I'm focused, but then I'm exhausted, and then I'm like hungry for that phone call to come in, because I am a people person, and then I have one major, and I don't want to call her a distraction because she's the love of my life. I'm the full-time caretaker companion for my 94-year-old, very active, healthy, still driving, living independently mother who lives about 2 miles from me. However, she is on technology, and she's always having a problem with her computer or with the phone. Yeah. And I'm the one she calls, and I'm getting much better at, if it's not an emergency, can we do this at another time? However, because she is my mother, or when it's my adult children, you know, those people it's hard for me to turn off from them right at that time. Do you have any suggestions around 100%. That?
I do. I have a wife, and she sounds like your mother. So this is one of those individual things, and this is great. So a couple of things that I found. There are times my wife isn't awake, and I am. My wife is a night owl. She'll stay up till 1, 2 in the morning. She doesn't like to get up until like 9 or 10. I'm up at 5:30 every day. I get a good solid 3-4 hours to work on the things I got to work on. However, when she gets up, I actually like spending time with her in the morning. I'm in a good mood. She's in a good mood. And so I get to spend time, like literally we take the kids to school. They get up at 7. I do some work till they're ready to go. 7:50, I get out of the house. I'm back by about 8:15. We hang out for between 30 to 45 minutes. Then I get into my day. And I rock and roll, but I've also already got stuff done well before that. So in that window of time, oh, go ahead. You got your thing.
Mine is different. My mother doesn't live with me. And her time, no, she lives about 2 miles from me. And her time is not my time, her schedule of getting up. You know, she's having breakfast when we're having lunch. And so it can be very erratic. And I have gotten much better at not reacting to her reaction to something. And first thing I've learned to say is it urgent? And she knows I'm building my kingdom now.
Yes.
So she respects that. She's my biggest hero. So I don't have that availability, but what I'm hearing from you is for me to be able to say, Mom, this is a block of time that I am free. If you're free, that's
a good way.
That conversation.
That's definitely a good way to do it. Yeah. And the thing is, on top of that, even so, it's like if you're, you know, say her lunchtime is that time, you actually do have that window. And because she's not there, you kind of could probably give you an idea somewhat of when she might be awake. So you work at home knowing the phone call probably isn't going to come in during this time frame. It could be 5 a.m. You may have to adjust to build, right? Make that small sacrifice. And it may mean you have to get up a little bit earlier, adjust the clock. But if you know, like, hey, Mom's not calling usually until like 11 o'clock. All right, I'm going to get up and get really good focused work done in this window. Now, my brain's like yours. I do have windows built in of like buffer and breathe work. I got to get up and walk around, because if I don't, then my brain, it's more taxing to try and think about having to think, right? So I want to get up, go around, walk outside, go do stuff, and shoot. I'll literally go in the backyard and shoot hoops by myself. I'll just do things because my brain's off. Come back, I'm dialed in again, right? But you do it first. I think you should find that time when Mom's not awake, work at that time. When she is awake, have some time with her. Give yourself the gift of spending time guilt-free time. And then from there, hang out and say, hey, Mom, I'm going to go do some work. I'm going to be able in about 2 hours. Give me 2 hours to work.
Then and then there's a part 2 to this. I'm really quick, and I'm sure.
We got to do real quick. Yeah.
All right. Technology issues. You're doing it. You're feeling focused, and all of a sudden, the computer isn't working right, or that software isn't working right, or the phone isn't working right, and you have a technology glitch. It happens all the time.
That's
sucker.
Yeah, that's no fun. So what I would do is I would choose the things that are more reliable, right? If you know Zoom works, like I wouldn't test a whole bunch of new stuff. And then also, you make it to a point where like you choose to do things that, like if it's a consistent thing in an area, like not even use digital stuff. Like if it's writing, I'm gonna write on a piece of paper. There's actually something called a rocket book. You can write on a piece of paper, take a screenshot, it'll pop in the notes. Then there's not a matter of having to do much besides just I gotta take a picture, pop it over, right? It does. It happens. Technology isn't always the funnest,
What's
but
it called?
it's called Rocket Book. And then
Okay.
also you can hire someone to tech person. So if you're like, hey, can I have you as like a off the, when I need you, kind of reach out real quick and have you do some tech stuff, reach out to someone. I have a guy on my team, Andrew, who does that. When things don't want to work and I don't want to fix them, he does because he gets money for it. So that's how it works.
Thank you.
My man, John, how are you?
Thank you so much for another fantastic session. Since the day that I met you in Influencer 2019 in San Diego, you've been encouraging me and inspiring me to make shift happen. I'm in a fortunate position where shift has happened. I'm living my life's work. I'm doing my life's work. I do still have goals on the cards to create the online course, to write the book, and also be a great father. So I'm serving these amazing clients around the world. I want to be a great dad. And I've got these, not conflicting priorities, but just loads of priorities. So share a little bit on priorities, on juggling, on serving as the highest and best version of yourself in all of these different areas.
Yeah. So just so you guys know, I have 3 kids. I have a 16-year-old who just got his driver's license, which is a very weird dynamic. I got 11-year-old twins. I have a wife that has multiple businesses that I am like the handyman for. I built this whole studio. Like I'm a super weird. I'll fix your car. I'll build a website. Seriously, it's weird. I'm not even joking. I can input and install a brand new car stereo in your car right now. It's just weird the things I can do. But I say that because on top of all those, I have a business where I'm writing a book. We have an app coming out. I'm here coaching with you guys. I just got back from T-Mobile last week, streaming to, I think, 80,000 employees they have. I'm doing a lot. However, I got a really great rhythm for it all. I'm very present with my wife. I'm very present with my kids. I have the business running. And here's what I do. I realize that we all have these big eyes. Like think about eating food. There's a big pot of food. What we do is we take all the stuff out of the pot and we put it on our plate. And we say, I got to eat everything on the plate right now. And the truth is you don't have to eat everything on the plate right now. There are certain things that need to go back in the pot, right? So what I look at is I said a big overall picture. And those of you guys who may know some of my story, I got to a point where my wife and I got divorced. I had a lot of focus on the professional world and I was doing that thing and I wasn't present as a father. Everything fell apart. I got divorced and I had custody bouts. We got all that. And then we're now remarried after 3 years of divorce. We're 4 years deep in an amazing marriage. And the reason it works is because I understand all the things you're talking about. And the way that I do it is I have a very specific process. One, you guys got to get a planner. If you don't have Brendan's planner, get a high performance planner. I think I have like 3 because every time I see him, he gives me like 5 more. I can't give him away fast enough. But get a planner. Here's the big thing. Don't just get a planner, learn to plan. Like learn how to plan. And here's what I always tell people. It's a simple process. Figure out what are the core projects, John. And then as I look at them, I do what's called a project deconstruction process. I open up the project and say, how many hours is this going to take? And I first do this. I want to take a look if I'm launching a podcast. Okay, how long is it going to take to write the intro, to record the intro, write the outro, record the outro, find the music, make the image. How am I going to launch this thing? What platform is it going to go on? How long is the episode going to take? How long will it take to edit the episodes? I take all these little pieces and go, okay, great. If I want to launch that, it's going to look like, let's call it a 15-hour project, right? 15 hours. Now, I'm not going to do it in one fell day. I'm not going to do it all in one day. But I take 15 hours, I put it to the side. Okay, great. I want to write a book. Okay, I'm going to write this book. Okay, I want to spend some time thinking about the concepts I want to include, the stories I want to include, how they're going to connect. Okay, then I'm going to set aside time to write, right? That may be a 60-hour project. I just wrote my book, and it really was, I think, 65 hours of all of it together. I put it dialed in. And so I was like 65 hours. I had it set for 70. I got it done a little bit early. And then on top of that, I'm like, all right, I want to make this app. All these little pieces, I take them and pull them apart and I look at the hours. Now, John, I go, why am I working in the first place? We're working to be able to spend time with our family, to have freedom, all this stuff. So what I do is I go back to my planner. I quite literally enter into my planner. Okay, great. Here's what I'm going to be morning with the kids. I'm going to take them to school. In my planner, it says, take kids to school, like for a half hour. Then it has like breakfast with my wife. Then I may have dinner at 3:00. Sometimes 4, I cut it off. I am not working. I'm out of the studio. I'm done because I know it's important. Now what I do is based on all the areas of the big rocks, my workouts, my time with family, which really, if you think about it, isn't a ton. take the kids to school, spend an hour or two with my wife, right? Get a workout 45 minutes. In a regular day, I still got 5 to 6 hours, right? So now what I do is I go back in, I highlight the areas across 4 weeks. I do 4 weeks at a time. And when I eat a week, I lead a week. And every weekend I do another week. So it's always 4 weeks out. And what I do is I say, okay, great. These highlighted spaces, I'm going to now infuse a project. It's going to be hour 1 of 15, 2 of 15, 1 of 65, 2 of 60. And I work it all the way through over 4 weeks. And what happens is now I have it blocked out and I'm very protective of that 4 weeks. There are very few people I let enter into that space of when I've got planned out. If you go to my calendar now, like you can't book me for like 4 weeks because it's blocked out. I won't let you come in because I got to keep this vision. I got to say yes to what I've already said yes to. Because if I say yes to your new thing, I'm saying no to what I already said yes to. Right. So I keep this big boundary. But now what happens is, here's the beautiful part, people. When I get to the point of now I'm working in my day, I'm breathing through the day, I call it. I'm breathing, not breezing, I'm breathing. I'm able to keep my breath. I stay under control and I move. And here's the key piece. When I'm working on project A, let's say I'm working on the book. If I'm working on the book right now, because I know when the book's going to get done, for the most part, I know when every other project is going to get done. I'm not on the book thinking about the app, thinking about the coaching program, thinking about the kid. I'm not thinking about anything else. So I can stay hyper focused and man, I get way more done in less time. Because I can be focused, because I have presence and I have a confidence in knowing everything is where it's supposed to be. Even better, when I shut it down at 3 o'clock, I can be with my family. My coach in college said, be where you are when you are. I'm not in the house thinking about work. I'm with the family because I know that's all set to take care of itself. It's going to be done as long as I show up to my time and I use my little egg timer that I have here that lets me make sure I'm all dialed in, right? I sit here, I don't move until that thing goes off. When I'm dialed in, I'm dialed. And now I get things done. And all of a sudden, we're rocking and rolling. So I hope that helps you guys get a perspective of like at least how my brain works. I have a lot I want to get done, but some of it's in starting 6 months. Some will start in a year. I don't got to do it all right now. But here's the cool thing, like folding laundry, when one thing gets done, it creates space for the next thing. And all of a sudden it's folded and smooth. Cool.
Brilliant. Thanks, Anthony.
Yeah. Very welcome. Very welcome.
Okay, so I'm writing this book and I'm creating a website so I can show pictures of my travels to people who get my book. And I feel like I need to decenter. I was trying to figure out what's going on, but I think I just, every time I like jump in and do something scary, then I just need to decenter. And I'm, reeling from going in and creating something. And I was just wondering what you do about that.
Tell me more about what you mean when you say decenter.
That's my description of, okay, so I'm focused and I did something amazing and I just have to rest for a while or something. I need to just like not have important things on. I don't know if it's a personality thing or what, but like all this computer stuff. I used to be a graphic designer, for God's sakes, and now I'm not, and all the programs changed already and blah blah blah. So it's very intense when I actually get to get something done, and then I'm reeling from it, and I just sort of go and not do anything for a while, or maybe I play my little games or whatever, to to just calm myself down or something.
Yeah. I guess my where my mind goes is two things. One, has this been a long-term pattern for you, or has it really become more present in the last 12 months? Because if it's long-term, that's one thing. If it's more present in the last 12 months, we're all in that same boat with you. It's become so much harder to gather attention and focus in the last 12 months simply because of the circumstance of our lives, the world around us. So a huge amount of forgiveness. And a lot of times the creative bandwidth that we have is shorter and we need more frequent bursts of recovery.
That's it, recovery.
Yeah. But that's the other word that keeps popping into my mind when you're talking, which is that I think sometimes we don't understand that when we sit down to intensely work on something that is creative and generative, it takes a huge amount out of us. We think that, oh, it's going to fill us up. And when we're done, we're going to be bouncing around and filled with energy because it's the thing we're here to do. And it's filled with purpose and passion. And then, like for some people that may be true, but for a lot of people, it's really hard. For me, it's really hard. I need to literally, if I'm spending hours writing, for example, I generally don't want to be around people after that. I want to go out for a walk in solitude or just to kind of chill and do nothing or listen to really nice music because it's taken a lot out of me. I love doing it. It's the thing I'm here to do, but it also requires a certain amount of recovery, consumes a certain amount. So I feel good about it, right? And long-term, big picture, it gives me energy, but sometimes in short bursts, I need to recover because I've given so much to the experience. And that's okay. Like allow yourself those breaks to recover. Allow yourself, build them into your plan. If you know that's kind of how you're wired, and know that it's okay. Know that, you're, especially if you're doing work that is intensely cognitive and creative, we don't realize how much energy our brain uses. I think the last number I saw was that the brain consumes something like 20% of all of the calories that we use all day long. So if our body burns 2,500 calories in a day, our brain alone functioning consumes 500 of those. And if you're really, really, really intensely working in a cognitive way, it's probably even more. We need to recover from that. And I think part of what you're talking about is allowing yourself the time to just go play games, go for a walk, take a nap. That is completely okay. If you look at many of the most productive and heralded scientists and artists in history, many of them had built-in naps and afternoon walks, hours long, every single day, because they understood that was necessary for them not only to survive, but to thrive and flourish in the work that they were doing. So hopefully that's maybe a little bit of a helpful reframe.
This can be your day for personal growth. This can be that day you committed to and you remember and you go, that was the day I got myself a community. I got better coaches. I committed to making my life the absolute best that I could. This is that day. Make today your growth day. Click the button on this page and sign up right now.